I'm trying not to get emotional because it hits home, but that was the hardest thing. Was just like, I'm going to give up all my medical plan, my savings, my steady income, like the thing that keeps me going. Embrace your uniqueness, embrace your imperfection, embrace the quirkiness that you have. Without failure, you don't have room to grow. When I got the call that I got accepted, I literally broke down like a baby on the phone.
So we were just talking beforehand, and I was just telling Yvette that I love when an entrepreneur answers either an Instagram message, a DM, an email, because I'm always a fangirl. And I reach out to the women that inspire me and that somehow I love without even saying one word to them, but I love what they're doing. I love how they're showing up. And so I actually found you, Yvette. I was, my granddaughter had just been born, and I had went upstairs and I just wanted some alone time, you know, because I'm 51 and a newborn is a lot of work. I will never admit that to my daughter that I was exhausted, but I was completely exhausted. And so I went upstairs for some alone time, and I actually have interviewed another lady, who does chair upholstering. And I love all of her stuff. And she's kind of taken her business into a whole nother world. And she's doing plates and fabrics and all of this. And I was like, man, that's what I want. But I am not creative whatsoever. So anyway, I'm doing all this stuff and your ad pops up on my social media. And I was like, well, this is interesting because this is kind of what I want. But there is no way that I can take this class and do what she's saying, because you know how sales funnels are, like promise you and everything. Yeah. But I just showed her, I'm like, look at this. This was my first one. It took me like an afternoon. Now I just told her that this is the second course that she's done. And, this lady, she needs a little help. But we're going to make her work. I'm not giving up on this one yet, but thank you so much, Yvette, for coming to Rebel Rootz and making, you know, my fangirl reality come true.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And first of all, let me say you did a fabulous job. And I think one of the things that a lot of my students learn when they join my courses is that I'm pretty authentic. I don't hold anything back. I not only have these pre-recorded courses that you can, you know, follow along on your own, but I have a Facebook community that all my students, it's a private group. So it's a safe space that all my students can come to. And I connect with them every single week on a weekly live. And I send newsletters out. My whole motto is about community. I'm not just someone who is in it to make a buck. Like there's so much more to it. And I'll go back into my history a little bit why, but my art journey was definitely a bunch of peaks and valleys, as most entrepreneurs are. But one thing that really lacked when I was emerging as an artist is support. And so that's always been my mission. It's been my mission for the last 20 years is to reach a global audience where I can support artists. And it just so happens that I gravitate women. So literally 99% of my following and students are women between the ages of like 45 and 65. I mean, I do have younger ones and older ones, but that's just the majority of my student base. But something that a lot of people don't know about me, because they see my ads and they think I'm like an online art instructor, but I'm actually a professional licensing artist. So I design products and wall art for the home decor industry. So my art is in retail. I have designed art collections for Shay McGee, Kelly Clarkson Home, Tamara Day. So that's where my journey began 25 years ago. Well, not quite 25, but in 2003. So I'll get into that. And then I started teaching courses about 6 years ago now.
Okay. So
and then I launched my own paint brand in 2003. So I'm the founder of that too. So I will backpedal, but it's something that I like to bring up because a lot of people don't know about art licensing. And I think it's one of those interesting topics. People always ask when they ask me what I do, and I say I'm a licensing artist, because if I just say artist, their next question is, no, what do you do for a real job? Like, what's your real job? But when I say I'm a licensed artist, the next question is always like, oh, what's that? And then I can educate, which is fun.
I love that. I love that. And when you said that you didn't have support, was that like from other artists or from like family, friends, or like who was that community that you felt like didn't?
Family and friends are always going to support you because they think it's your hobby, but they'll never think that it's something that you can actually make a living doing. And I come from a family who's very structured and responsible, and like they're in the medical field or like government. Like it's like totally not me. I'm like the rogue child. I'm the one that's like,
straight and narrow, and you're like over here catching butterflies.
However, it's not how I was raised, so that's not how I started off. But we'll get into that. But also in the art community, I never had good experiences. Support from other artists did not come. Like there's a lot of, I think, jealousy in that world to see another artist succeed and you're not. It's very, very hard. And I think we can all relate to that. But what I think is a beautiful thing, and I've changed that in my community, is there is something really magical and beautiful when a bunch of artists get together and they do support you, because we can offer so much insight and help. And, you know, it's like any community. If you grow that community and you have people that you trust and are literally cheering you on, we can all help each other. We can spread the word. We can offer like our students and our people to other communities. It really, because my goal is to help artists focus on their own journey. We're not all going to have the same journey, and we're not all going to get there. A lot of people think that there's like this master blueprint in being successful as any entrepreneur. But being an artist is actually like being any entrepreneur and starting a business. There's no blueprint for it. You have to find what works for you.
No, I totally agree with that. And I think that being an artist is even harder because I feel like that you're really putting your inner works out there and then having to take someone's opinion of how they interpret it, which could be good or bad, right? And then to be like, oh, that's just not my cup of tea. Like that hurts. Like you spend something, I feel like, whether it's a sculpture or the painting, yeah, I mean, it's like you're calling your baby ugly, right? And or it could be the other way. I'm going the negative route on there, but you know, the positive, and that's probably when someone succeeds is when it like hits someone, you know, internally, the buyer, I would assume, right? And they've connected with that piece, and that's probably. But man, I feel like this entrepreneur for an artist, like except for where you've taken it, I feel, but just to be out there, man, it would be tough.
I think it's the hardest thing for any artist, and it's something that every artist struggles with. Whether they're professional or not, we all struggled with it at some point. And it's the fear of being rejected, right? And the fear of not being good enough. And I see it all the time with my students, and that's why I have this community. It's like, you don't have to be afraid to show your piece here, because this isn't, it's on social media, but we're a private community. Totally monitored. Like I monitor it. My team monitors it. I've had 2 negative comments in 6 years, and the rest of my students have shut it down because they're like, no, you don't come in here and you talk that, like, this is not allowed. And then they leave. So it's about like creating that atmosphere and that safe space. But going back to the support thing, and I know you kind of wanted to hear a little bit about like my childhood and maybe how I got there. Because, as children, we all kind of gravitate to a passion early in life. It doesn't mean we're going to stick with it or follow through with it. But as children, we naturally were either like playing with toys or we're reading books or we're watching movies or we're into gaming. Well, I was that one that just always gravitated to something I could do with my hands because I'm a kinesthetic learner. That's like I was never good in school. I didn't get good grades. I thought something was wrong with me because I'd be in class and 2 minutes in, I had no idea what the teacher was talking about because I'm like looking out the window, watching the birds or imagining myself running in the like playground. But what I realized later in life that I was a lot smarter than I thought I was. And I picked up things really quick if I was interested in it. So the thought of starting a business was like, oh gosh, I knew I could do it, but could I keep my attention enough so that I could dig in and research what I needed to know? And I surprised myself. But yeah, it was just that, I grew up in Canada. We traveled a lot. Like we moved a lot as a child. So every summer my dad would get transferred. He worked for the government. So we moved to a different city. So I would make friends and then I'd have to leave them. So I became very independent. And believe it or not, I am an introvert, which most artists are. So I'm very comfortable talking to people and I can get into a group setting and make anybody feel comfortable. I'm kind of one of those people, like if I see the lone wolf sitting over there, I'll go talk to them because I feel bad. Like I want them to feel included. But I love like my secluded, like I love being at home. I'm not someone who likes to go to events and be in public or be in a bunch of people that I don't know. I'm just like, I love my little safe space.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I always say I'm an introvert, extrovert. I can turn it on when I need to, but I prefer not to have to turn it on, And the same way, someone asked me the other day about travel. Like one of my friends was giving me a hard time and she's like, you need to get out. And I'm like, no, I don't. I enjoy being home and not leaving the house, I mean, I'm getting to a point, probably a little bit too much of that, but I probably need to go out a little bit. I mean, I do, but.
Well, that's what happens when we work. Like our work is in our home and we get really pushy, but it's okay. I mean, I love the one-on-one interaction when I can get, cause I'm on video calls all the time, and that's enough for me. I love it.
So you are so where are you at? Like, you're moving around and you're starting to, did you paint? Like, I mean, were you artistic?
The one place that we had that was stable growing up was our cottage. My dad bought land when I was born and he built this cottage from the ground up. It's in like this little community in northwestern Ontario on Rainy Lake. And we spent every summer we spent there for 2 months. So it sounds dreamy now, but as a child, it was horrible because we didn't have electricity. We didn't have like TV. We didn't have friends. So it was just, me, my brother and my parents, but we had the lake. So I swam. I turned into a competitive swimmer, but it was like you swam or you found something to do. And my parents, I think they always saw me. I'd always be doodling. So they'd buy me like pencils and sketchbooks and watercolors. And I would just draw. I would sit on this the picnic table ended up being a little rusty, but that's kind of like that memory that's always been stuck in my brain as being a little child sitting at this picnic table, just drawing and doodling. And I'd have like my mom's big sun hat on because she didn't want me to get burnt. And I'd just be, there's pictures of me in my little swimsuit, just drawing. And I was happy. And right through elementary and high school, I just remember sitting on my bed with a sketch pad, drawing and drawing. And then I started like decorating everybody's bedrooms without parents' consent. So they like, because I developed a very strong interest in interior design. Yeah. I actually, at one point, thought I was going to be an architect until I realized there was math involved. Then I always wanted to be an interior designer. But yeah, my friends would invite me over and we'd go and get paint because we were all working. And we'd like paint and decorate their room. And then the parents would come home and they'd get mad at us because we just went to town. But it was fun. Yeah, so I ended up, going to university. And funny thing is, I was actually registered to become look, this is an artist. We change our mind a lot. I struggled with what I should do and what I wanted to do. And my dad was so like, go to university, get a good job. All this. Yet he was the one that was real, like he loved my art. He praised it because my dad represented artists. Like he was very artistic as well. So anyways, I ended up getting mono and I had to drop out of dental hygiene in college. And then I know because I heard it paid well and I wanted to make money. And don't ask me where that came from.
It's okay. Our stories are so similar because exactly what you're describing, I call it the white picket fence theory, right? Like you grow up, you get you go to school, you get a good job, you have kids, da, da, da. And I was like, and that's what I was taught. But I'm laughing because I started as an x-ray tech because it paid good money. And that's what my mom said. So yeah, I cannot wait until keep going.
Oh,
this is awesome.
What's funny is all through high school, my dad was like, Yvette, you got to get into technology. It's going to be a big thing in the future. Just take technology and learn technology. Well, we had the Commodore 64 because I'm your age. I'm 52. We had the Commodore 64 back then. We were taking typing class. Yeah. I wasn't interested in computers. Are you kidding me? Give me pencils and paintbrushes. No. Well, look at the world today. It's all technology.
So listen to your dad. No.
So I had a little bit of time off. Because I graduated high school early. And so I had 6 months to try to figure out what I wanted to do because I didn't know. And so for the heck of it, I applied at our university in Thunder Bay, Lakehead University in the Fine Arts program. And I got in. And the funny thing is, when I got the call that I got accepted, I literally broke down like a baby on the phone. And I was like, I remember this day, I'm thinking, why am I crying? I'm going to university. I wasn't dreaming of taking fine arts. I wasn't dreaming of going to university. Why is it hitting me so hard? And I realized later in life, oh my gosh, I think it was just my calling or something. It's the universe is telling me something, but I just didn't know it at the time because why did it affect me that way? But anyways, I did a 4 years degree in fine arts. And I'm realizing throughout my whole degree, what the heck am I going to do with this now? I can't go get a job.
I need to adult now.
Yeah. And I was like, I really want to be an interior designer, but I don't want to go back to school. I was over it. So I actually packed up my bag and moved out west to Vancouver, British Columbia, and winged it from then on out. I ended up getting a job at a photography studio. I learned some valuable skills in photography. I actually worked customer service, but after about 2 years of that, I started taking their photography program. So I became a photographer with them. Then I got bored of that because it's studio photography, taking pictures of grads and families. I'm like, this ain't my snitch. So I went and worked in production. And I liked that because I got to put take the pictures and make these charts and make things pretty and build yearbooks. So I was like, okay, we're kind of getting somewhere, but not really like I was overworked. It was a family owned business. I was totally overworked. I was working like months on end without a day off. And anyways, I ended up realizing I needed a better job. So I got a job. This is going to really throw you for a loop in real estate development as an executive assistant. So I'm heading into the corporate world in an office doing office stuff.
Totally not your vibe.
What's that?
I said totally not your vibe.
No, but I did love it because like I'm a really organized person. I learned so much in the years. I actually was with the company for about 10 years. But I did a lot of different things. Like I refused to just, and I worked for 3 different execs. So I'm typing a lot of stuff, I'm filing, but I'm actually absorbing a lot of information because we dealt with acquisitions and dealing with interior designers. And then we were small at the time. We were creating our own home books, homeowner manuals so I like jumped on that. I'm like, I want to design it. Can I design it? I'll learn Photoshop. I'll do like, let me lead this. So I was kind of taking like little bits in that pot to build my knowledge and expand, not knowing I was ever going to go. I thought I was going to really get up there in the company, but years went by, many, many years, and I realized it's not creative enough. Like I'm learning new things, but it's not what I want to do. All this time, just keep in mind, I'm still kind of I'm painting at home. I'm entering little exhibitions, but I honestly didn't think that was my passion either, because I always in the back of my head is like, I can't do anything with this. Like, it's just a hobby. I might sell a painting here or there, but like, how am I going to really make money? Anyways, this is where I'm really opening the pot, because I ended up getting so depressed that I started seeking therapy because I wanted to quit my job, but I was totally afraid to disappoint my family. And I'm trying not to get emotional because it hits home.
Really?
But that was the hardest thing, was just like, I'm going to give up all my, like, my medical plan, my savings, my steady income, like the thing that keeps me going. I'm going to give all that, and I have to tell my family. And meanwhile, I'm like 29 years old, like, and I live 3,000 miles away from my family, and I'm still afraid of disappointing them. Like, so I needed to go to therapy so that my therapist could like literally whip me in the ass and say, you got to do what's best for you, Yvette. Like, you need to find your support and go and run with what's making you happy, because this is your life. You're not living it for them. You live 3,000 miles away from them. Like, live your dream. And I'm like, but I don't know what that is.
Why do you think you still, so again, we are so similar. You know, when I got ready to quit my x-ray job, again, I was leaving behind the medical, the pension, all this to start a restaurant that no one ate healthy back that far ago, you know? And it was like my parents didn't speak to me for a very long time. And even my husband's family kind of not disowned him. That's a strong word, but they're just like, I don't know what you're doing. So why does it still bring emotion up right now, do you think? Because you're so successful right now. Like, you did the right thing, but it still brings tears to your eyes. It
does. And you know what? I am a person who, I don't talk a lot about my, like, I don't revisit things from my past. I'm kind of a forward moving person. And I probably, like, there's a lot that just gets shuffled in the back of my head, but I try to live my life in such a positive way. I only surround myself with positive people. Like I don't have I don't have room for toxic relationships, anything like that, because I'm such an empathetic person. Like I'm an empath. I absorb energy. I can walk in a room and if somebody's negative, it affects me. And I could feel like I'm going to break down or I'm going to get mad because it affects me so much. So I think talking about it is something I don't do often. So it's bringing back all those feelings.
Okay.
And as much as I am proud of where I am, like it is still I don't talk about it with my family. It got to the point where I felt every time I was on the phone with my family, they're saying, so do you have enough money? Are you okay? And it got to the point where it was kind of making me mad because like I haven't lived at home for 20 something years. I'm on my fourth house. I'm a homeowner. Like I have kids. I'm supporting them. Like I don't ask you for money. Like where's
this coming from?
They don't want to ask me about what I do. They just want to say, are you okay? I worry about you. And, my mom, whenever she would introduce me to somebody, it would be like, this is my daughter, the starving artist. So it's just like, you don't believe in me. And I love my family. I'm not on here but no, I didn't have the support from my family. Now, to move forward, I met my husband oh my gosh, we've been together for like 26 years. Married 18. I don't even remember when that is, but I literally met him at the time where I was working in real estate development and thinking of leaving. And we ended up moving in together and he was my rock. Yeah. He's like, you need to be happy. You're not happy there. You're an amazing artist. Just quit. And I'm like, I can't quit. I need to support myself. He's like, no, I'll support you. I'm like, what? Well, I'm independent. That ain't going to fly. But he gave me encouragement. He gave me support. And what I did was while my last few years, I didn't just go to my therapist and say, I want to quit. Like I literally had a plan. And because I was doing photography on the side and I was actually making really good money. So I utilized the fact that I had a shoe-in with real estate development. And we had all these sales, like we'd have grand openings every couple months. We'd have show homes come up. So I started, networking with them saying, hey, you want to hire me to do your photography? Because they'd hire photographers to do this. So I started doing photography on the side. So I was already making money. So I just kind of waited until I had enough so that I knew I could help with rent and all this other stuff. Anyways, long story short, I ended up with the support from my husband, who was just my boyfriend at the time, and my therapist kicking me in the butt. One day I just walked into my work and I gave my notice, and it was like they were begging me not to go. And the reason why I was leaving, just in all openness, is they were paying me really crap. I worked so hard. And my supervisor at the time says, the only place for you to go in this company is my job, and I'm not going anywhere. So that was my breaking point. And we were really good friends. So it was kind of so I left, but funny thing is, they were my other family. I was really close with the people that I worked with. A year after, they kept reaching out to me saying, will you come back? Will you? And I'm like, I'm not coming back. Okay, well, can you do some consulting work for us? I'm like, consulting work? What kind? Well, do you want to do customer service? I'm like, I'm not doing customer service. No. You'd meet the homeowners and you'd show them and you'd do the quality control. I'm like, oh, this could be, well, what are you going to pay? And then they gave me a shit price. And I'm like, no, I said, if you want me to do this, you need to pay me a minimum of 4 hours. plus a travel stipend. I want my gas paid for. I want my phone paid for. And I want like, 25 bucks an hour. And they're like, oh, so the guy that made the decision was one of the executives I worked for. And the woman that I was talking to, she was a good friend of mine. She goes, there's no way they're going to agree to that. I'm like, well, then I'm not coming back. I literally hung up with her and I got a call back within 2 minutes. Okay, it's done. You got everything. And I'm like, what? They were paying me like, I was getting paid $300-400 a day just to drive out to UBC for an hour a day to meet with a customer. And I had designed the homeowner manual. So I kind of did this on the side, getting some money, doing my photography. Meanwhile, this is where the art comes in. The reason why I quit and left, my goal, I had just found out about art licensing.
Okay.
Because my sister-in-law now, like my husband's sister, she had just moved out to Vancouver and she got a job with a art publisher that I didn't even know existed. So she was like, for the time that she was only there for probably 6 months, she's like, Yvette, I don't know why you don't try to get in with CAP. They work with artists. You're good enough to get in. I'm like, what? Really? That's a thing? And she was telling me about the top licensing artists and how much they were making. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. So I finally ended up quitting my job. And that was what I was pursuing. So I was doing the photography and the other stuff to just supplement my income. So I didn't have to be dependent on my boyfriend because that just wasn't working for me. I feel better knowing I'm giving. So anyways, I didn't have any proper like painting supplies. I sat on my dining room floor, like with these huge canvases, painting for 6 months, submitting to them, getting rejected. His sister would call. I don't know why they didn't pick this up. It's so good. It's blah, blah, blah. And we'd just be like going back and forth. And she'd be trying to help me like, okay, well, try painting this, try painting that. Anyway, 6 months went by, rejection after rejection. Literally had my breaking point. I got these 2 big canvases. I needed to paint for myself just because I was trying so hard to give them what they wanted. So I ended up painting these 2 birds of paradise, big paintings, shoved them aside. This is like all within the 6 months, like probably about 4 months of like hell. I decided, I'm going to paint for myself. So I painted these paintings. I put them aside, never looked at them again, and then started working at trying to get in with them again. And no. Finally had my breaking point. I think it was like November 2003. And I was in tears. And I remember saying to my husband, I am so done. I am trying I don't even like painting. I'm trying so hard to give them what they want. And it's not working. I'm tired. I'm defeated. And then I had the same conversation with my sister-in-law, and she's like, no. So she came over to literally console me. And it was on her way to work. She came in the morning. She saw these 2 paintings on the floor, my birds of paradise. And she's like, oh my gosh, when did you do that? How come I haven't seen it? I said, I did that months ago. I was so stressed out painting for you guys. I just needed to paint. She goes, did you show them that? Did you submit it? I'm like, no, they're not going to want it because it was nothing like what they were asking. Yeah. She's like, and I said, I'm done. I'm so done, Lorena. I'm done. I'm burnt out. It makes me hate painting. So she says, do you mind if I take these to work with me? I just want to show them. I'm like, I don't care. Take them, have them. I'm just I was so. So she took them to work, and literally within 5 minutes of her being at work, she called, she goes, they're going to pick them up. You're published. And I'm like, what? And I'm crying. And I'm like, you're kidding me. They sat there for 2 months. You mean I could have just showed them? And they're like, yeah, they love them. And they want you to do more. And I'm like, oh my God. So anyways, the following month I got published. And those two paintings put me in the top 10 best-selling artists globally in licensing. Just two paintings. Yeah.
And so to see them then. You have to send me a picture of them.
Yeah. Well, they're probably online. Like if you Google it, Yvette St. Amant, Birds of Paradise, and you will see them. Like dark background, moody with these like orange, yellow, red, like flowers. But, that was the turning point because I realized something extremely valuable in that moment that I didn't realize before. And this is something I tell all my students. It's just advice I tell all my students. When you love what you paint, it's going to resonate with people. I can always tell when an artist loves what they paint or if they just painted it to paint. So those two paintings that I enjoyed painting is what put my foot in the door. I was trying too hard. I was trying to paint like other artists. I was trying to be like everybody else. And that's not what they were looking for. There's already artists like that. So that's why I'm always like, embrace your uniqueness, embrace your imperfection, embrace the quirkiness that you have. It's not about perfection. The art licensing industry does not want perfect. They want to see hand-painted designs that are unique. And that's like showing brush strokes, the little spot off the side. Like we always joke and with my agent and I and my art director, like, oh, there's a little splatter of paint over here. And we always talk like the department that cleans up the artwork. My art director and I are like, leave it. Cause we like to see those. Like it shows that it's just like it's real.
Yeah. So they take these like two paintings of yours and then they just mass produce them under somebody's like name?
No, under my name.
Or under your name.
Yeah. So there's art publishing and then there's licensing. So it's like two different kind of worlds. Art publishing is a lot of it goes towards like wall decor. It gets put online on a lot of like e-commerce. But back in 2003, when I started, it was very, very different. Companies, interior designers, online businesses, galleries, lots of galleries and museums, they had to purchase large MOQs of our art prints with my name on it. So like we're talking 3,000 units, 5,000 units, 10,000 units. And then they house it in their warehouse and they sell it. They're selling it to the stores. They're selling it to galleries, to museums. Like money was good. I actually ended up buying my first house. I had a down payment for my first house within a year of me being published. I bought my first like car out because when I moved to Vancouver, I didn't buy a car. It costs so much money, like parking. Oh.
Do you still have the two original paintings? Are they
You know what? That's a very good question. I kept them for a very long time. I think this is a good story. When I moved here, I had the original paintings in my house for the longest time. Actually, my publisher wanted to buy them a year after I published, and I refused to because I thought they would be worth more down the road. Now, I used to sell a lot of my originals, but those two I kind of held sacred for a long time. I had them in my house in Arizona for a longest time, but it's not like, I don't like the color red and it has red in it. So when I moved here to Texas, you're not going to believe this. I'm kind of embarrassed to say this. I was getting rid of a lot of artwork and I put them out at the curb in the truck. No word of a lie. They were on, I used to paint on masonite, or particle board. Masonite, not particle board. So they were on particle board and framed, and I put them out at the curb. The following week, I was putting more stuff out at the curb, and a guy from down the street came by, and he's like, I caught him going through my trash. He goes, I'm so sorry. I came by last week, and you had these beautiful paintings, and they were on Masonite. And I hope you don't mind. I grabbed them. I said, no, that's why I put them. And he goes, okay, because I built a chicken coop out of them in my backyard. And I put it so that the paintings were on the outside because they were so beautiful. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. I didn't even tell him like who I was or what it was. But I do still have original paintings from that collection. Way back when, we used to paint very, very large because the process for licensing is my publisher would take them. We'd have them professionally photographed with film and then turned into digital files.
Okay.
So I had an abundance of these large paintings. That's why now I just paint on watercolor paper. And I have like buckets and bins of like thousands of pieces of art.
Chickens don't even know what they're looking at. Like,
yeah, so somebody's got some originals there that are probably worth quite a bit, but I never really banked on selling my originals to make a living. It's just not, I'm in the world of reproduction. So, but yeah, the licensing industry has definitely shifted because there's so much e-commerce and print on demand. So we don't sell mass quantities of art prints anymore. Like even like Target and like Kirkland, they have so many artists that they could put on their line. And if somebody orders, they'll just have it printed and shipped to them.
Gotcha.
Not to say they're not, like, I still get large quantities of paintings that are like sold in Hobby Lobby, Kirkland. Like they will buy, large MOQs to serve the retail market.
So you've been in all of the main, like your pieces have been everywhere?
Yeah, Hobby Lobby, Kirkland, JCPenney, At Home, Wayfair. So like I've got a collection with Shay McGee, Studio McGee at Target. I've got a collection with Kelly Clarkson at Wayfair and Tamara Day through Stylecraft. So it's, yeah, but not only that is, so now in the last few years, I moved into product development. So I do work with these brands so that I provide my artwork to them and they can put it on like dinnerware, top of the bed, like anything, suitcases, furniture. So, and that was my goal. That's been my goal for 10 years. And even though I was licensed and published in wall decor, I never quite got my shoe in with full collections in product development. So that's been my goal since 2007. And in 2003 is when I signed on with my new agency, Wild Apple. And they even told me when I signed on, I said, I'm only signing on because I represented myself for a vast amount of years, like working direct with manufacturers. But as I started building courses and as I started developing my own paint line, I'm like, I need help. I can't be doing the nitty gritty. Yeah. So I was looking for an agent, and it was funny because they started coming to me. So I started kind of weeding out, finding the right fit, and I hopped on a call with Wild Apple and we clicked like this. But I remember saying to them, I want to go into full collection building. I've been doing wall decor, specializing in it in 20 years. Like I want to build full collections, patterns, like star pieces. I want my art on products. And they're like, okay, well, it takes a lot. It's a lot to learn. Not a lot of artists can do that. Not in a negative way, but they, every artist has a dream of doing that, but there is a process. And I'm like, no, I'm determined. I'm going to get there. I'm going to do that. And they're like, okay. So I would hop on. I had 2 agents in the business, and one is wall decor, and then the other is art licensing on products. So now I just deal with my art licensing on products. She deals with all my art across the board. But it's gotten to the point where I have learned and mastered collection building that I am the only artist that they have now and that they have had in the past that get 2 collections in each lookbook every month because I'm producing so much. They're like, you got to slow down. We can't keep up with you. I'm like, that's my goal. I love what I do.
That is so cool. I mean, when we started this call, I had no idea. I was just amazed by these online courses and that you made someone like me be able to create some art. But now this is incredible. I'm like, wow, I'm super floored with all of this. This is amazing.
Thank you.
So how did you get to the online courses then?
Okay, so funny thing. This is another little kind of pivotal point in my career. When I lived in Arizona, now I had kids, the recession hit, a lot changed in art licensing. The royalties weren't coming in like they used to, like people weren't buying art. So I focused on raising my kids. I started a cake company because it's something I could do at home and make money on the side.
Just a hustler.
When they both started, and then I got a ton of food allergies, so I had to stop that business. And I know you can appreciate that because of your food. But when my youngest, I mean, my kids are only 18 months apart. So when she started kindergarten, I was like, I'm determined to get back into art licensing. I want to I still had my publisher because I've been with CAP for 20 years, but they moved away from home decor and we're starting to focus on Indigenous. So I knew I had to do something. So I started kind of getting into the art scene. I started belonging to community, like art facility, and tried all that again. I did everything. I was doing markets. I actually became a director for a outreach program with an organization there that I didn't last very long because it was a bunch of artists, very negative, very unsupportive. Everybody's talking behind each other's back. And I needed to get out. So I started my own organization. There was another artist that I was friends with and we were always creating together. And she was doing YouTube videos and we lost touch. But at that time, she was the one that encouraged me to get my face out there because I was always like, art licensor. I don't want anybody knowing who I am. Like I used to get embarrassed if I went to the store and my art was there. My husband would be like to the salesperson, do you like those paintings? You know, she's the artist. And I'm like, oh gosh. So we all kind of go through that, I think, as artists at the beginning. Like now I can't stop. I'll go to TJ Maxx and I see my stuff like on a product and somebody will walk by. I'm like, can you do me? I have a really strange question. Can you take a little video of me with my phone? This is my art and I need to do a reel. And then the conversation starts. So she says, why don't you start because she was doing pretty good on YouTube. Why don't you start doing a little YouTube like lessons and do your collaging and art journaling on there? Because we'd art journal together. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you got to do it, Yvette. And you got to start Instagram. You gotta get on Instagram. I'm like, no, it's not my thing. But she encouraged me to. And so I started kind of doing little YouTube videos. And then I joined Patreon because I'm like, I got to start making money. I wasn't making any money. Joined Patreon. I got 2 people following me and one was her. So I was making $2 every month. Then my husband saw an ad for Skillshare. This is, I think, in 2008. And he's like, there's a platform you could do your courses on. And I'm like, I'll make money. So I joined Skillshare. Of course, I wasn't really bringing in money there because with Skillshare so saturated, you don't get any exposure. So if you're not marketing, you're but I ended up getting somebody to market my classes for me on Skillshare. So it was starting to grow. And then fast forward, I was doing that for a few years. I moved to Texas and I get contacted by a marketing and sales kind of agency that license, believe it or not, content for artists, like art courses. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. This is my wheelhouse. I'm an art, I love to license everything because when you license stuff, somebody else is running the business. They're investing, they're getting the money, like all the upfront costs, the marketing, the sales, the production, like putting it all together is somebody else's responsibility. I just have to focus on the content. I'm like, whoa, I can license my courses. So anyways, I partnered with them and we built my platform, Painting with Yvette. That was in, I think, 2000. I started communicating them the summer of 2000 and we launched my first course in 2001. Well, it was paint like a published artist because that's all I knew. I'm going to teach people how to paint like me in the licensing world because it's not really a thing. People don't know. And it did very, very well. And I was realizing, oh man, this is good. Like the money's good. I've got a full support team. I've got like a marketing staff, sales. They are like, we're a team. Anyways, 5 years later, I mean, last year, so we built this whole brand together, Painting with Yvette. And then in that time, I managed to put together, I'm kind of a go-getter. Like if I see how good a course is doing, I'm going to do more because I always think more revenue, right?
Right.
It's more residual revenue that I can bring in and I can work it on my art licensing or my paint brand in the meantime. That'll just I got a team doing that. I just have to pump up classes, which does take time. I mean, it takes a whole week of recording and then I do have to do some post-production. I've got to build out the courses, but then I send it to the team. And they will put it on the platform. They'll make ads for it. And then they run all the customer service and all this kind of fun stuff. But we've definitely in the last like 6 years, have really partnered and built a lot together. They are fully my team. Last summer, we'd been talking about this for years, like developing a platform, that can bring you can get a membership, kind of like Skillshare, but a little bit better because you get like your live workshops every month.
Hit me every time I do a new course. I almost signed up for the membership. I'm this close.
Well, and that's a thing. Like you can still purchase the classes as they come or which ones you want. But if you do the membership, you get access to every single course.
I know.
Not only mine, but the other students too. So I have I think I almost have 60 courses and ebooks now. And then we've got probably another 40 combined with all the other 12 artists. So you can see like I went hard. So that's why we work so well together. And, we help each other out. They are my rock. And they are really good to me. So we decided to move because if you can imagine every artist that's on Let's Get Artsy, they had their own brand, they had their own funnel, they had their own website, they had their own customer service, and it becomes a lot over time. And they always just only served a small amount of artists. So, over communicating for a couple of years, like let's just all band together on one platform where we're all working together. And me, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can help these other artists because I've built such a big following and I have such a big student base because me alone, I have over 50,000 students, which is more students than UNT. My husband works up at UNT. They don't even have 50,000 students at UNT.
You bet. That's so amazing.
So let's all come together. I will share my students with the other artists. Like this is kind of what it's all about. Like I want to support. I can't talk about supporting people if I'm not going to do it. So I'm always giving back. I'm always sharing. They come to me and say, were you able to build your group? Because they encouraged me build a community in the very beginning. And there was another thing out of my comfort zone. Like, really? I've got to go and now I have to manage that and communicate. Now it's like the best part of, I love my group. It's something that I love doing. I do my lives every Monday and it's just like I get, and I'm doing I do in-person retreats. So, I have one coming up in October, and, they are a little pricey, but there are students that come. Like, that's the reward if you come in person for a whole weekend. Like, you got to pay for your hotel, but all your meals are paid for. You get supplies, you can come and paint. And we built like an amazing little family. Like, that's another little family that we have going together. So
how full circle is that? I mean, you started this call off saying that you did not have support, you know, with all of that. And then you full circle and how many people you are supporting now. I mean, it gave me chills. Like, that is so cool.
I think it's important to know, even though, like, you have to find your support. And I'm giving that to other artists and students because I know what it's like to not have support with family or friends. And I've heard it all. I have had friends tell me, like, I'm so sick of seeing that painting, to, oh, I love your art, you should sell it, to, like, oh, yours is good, but this one, like, I have been there. I've had my teachers in university tell me that I should never, ever enter an art exhibit ever, but I'll let you in this one because it's the last one you'll ever do. Because I wasn't really focused in school. But I mean, like, every time somebody gives me a little bit of doubt, it literally pushes me further. Like, I'm stubborn. I'm going to prove you wrong. Tell me I can't do something and I'll make sure I do it. So I like to give, I think a lot of my students have similar experiences where a teacher told them they can't draw, or you shouldn't do that, or you'll never make money, or you're going to be poor, or you can't make a living. You can. It's not easy. It's a business.
Yep.
You need to be dedicated. You need to be committed, and you need to not be afraid to fail, because you will. That's going to be like that's always my number one advice. Without failure, you don't have room to grow. So you're never going to get better.
Absolutely. And the only thing I was going to comment on what you said was like, there is two type of people, right? The ones that get told that they're not going to be successful. They're not going to do that. And then they go like, you just lit my fire. Like, now I'm going to go do it, And then there's another type of person who, throws the covers over their heads and just sulk and don't take that first leap because they listen to those people, And I love this story. I did not think that I was going to get all this information from you. You're the first person that has like completely, I did not stalk enough, and totally has surprised me on this podcast. I love it. Okay. Final words. What's life, future?
Oh, my future is I laugh because I know I didn't really talk about this a lot, but I am the founder with my co-founder, Dina Kruger, with YSA Paint. I have my own paint brand. And so even though we started in 2003, and maybe that could be another time, because I have some good stories on that, like our epic fail and where we are now. But I do have 3 different brands of my business, right? I have my teaching platform, I have my art licensing, and my paints. And I didn't start everything at once. Once something got going, I let it roll, and then I can move on to the next. So I think it's really important to focus on one thing. As creatives, we get so distracted by those shiny objects. We want to do everything, but you really can't you can't master everything at once. I've tried, and it's disastrous, because you will fail at all 3 if you try to do all 3 at once. So focus on one thing. Once you have it mastered and figured out, move on to the next. But I have a big focus in YSA Paint this year. We've just rebranded our website. We're rebranding our product. We just hired like a marketing strategist to help us bring it out to the world, because it's just really been in my little like painting with Yvette community right now. Like my students are buying my paint, and we're doing really well at that, but we want to expand now. We want every artist to be able to try my paint. And Dina and I have this vision that one day, because I don't think people realize, and I know you do because you're an entrepreneur, people think because you sell a product, you have a ton of money, it costs a lot. And, in the first 5 years, you're usually in the hole. So we're very grateful for all our students who have supported us. But we laugh because you will work harder than anybody that has a 9 to 5. You will not get paid, but you will feel like every day is not a day at the office because you love what you do. So I laugh.
That fashion or that passion drives everything, and it makes you keep going. But yeah, I agree with everything you just said 1,000%.